What was that?
That was right here in the doorway, bro. That was loud. It was either in here or upstairs. I think it was in here. For centuries, people have debated the question of an afterlife in which the spirits of the deceased roam here on Earth with us. It is our passion to turn that question into an answer. My name is Ryan Zackrell.
Someone poke me? Who was that?
I am joined by my two best friends, Dave Gear.
I've never been scared to the point to where I fear my well-being. That's 2 times in 1 hour.
And Steve Hummel.
I've seen things, I've heard things in my lifetime that still makes my skin crawl. And this night is surely one of them. It is. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
We're in Dresden, Ohio, pulling up to Prospect Place, and it is going to be a stormy night.
Getting charged up in that building.
Prospect Place is not only one of the oldest buildings in Dresden, but it is also one of the most historical places in all of Ohio. The mansion was built by politician G.W. Adams, who lived in the house with his wife Mary and their 7 children. Adams was a prominent man who entertained friends in their ballroom, including his good friend Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States of America. G.W. Adams shared more than just a mutual friendship with Lincoln. They were both very strong advocates for the abolition of slavery. And from 1857 to 1965, Prospect Place was a major stop on the Underground Railroad as African Americans fled northward to escape slavery. The basement of the Adams house was a key hiding place to these African Americans on their way to freedom. After the passing of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, it became illegal to shelter or aid runaway slaves in any way. But this did not stop Adams, and it was once said that he had no limits to how far he would go to help these human beings. And in fact, there is even a story that when a slave hunter came knocking on the door of Prospect Place looking for runaway slaves, he was not treated with hospitality, but taken out and hanged in the barn. He lived the rest of his life in the house and eventually died in 1875. His wife Mary moved out of the house, and their daughter, Anna Adams, inherited the huge mansion. She married a man named William Cox, who loved to throw lavish parties. He used the ballroom to his advantage, and sources say he would throw parties that would last for days, until he went on a business trip to Canada and never returned. He was declared to be dead. Anna also lost their adopted daughter Constance. Constance died at the age of 21 from consumption, adding to the tragedy of Anna's life. Anna continued to live in the house until her death. She slipped and fell on some ice, and as she laid in bed to recover, she developed pneumonia and died. Though she died from pneumonia, many people believe that she died from a broken heart. It is her spirit along with the spirit of G.W. Adams and Mary Adams, who are said to haunt the house. There is also an interesting story. The story of a young girl who died from an accident during the cold winter. Her body could not be buried, so they stored her body in the basement of Prospect Place until the ground thawed in the spring. Many people have reported seeing her spirit in the basement, where her body was stored for months.
We all just heard this door slam.
It's gonna be this door, but
Is it windy out?
Man, we were just going over a game plan.
the other door we were messing with is locked. And there's no breeze out here at all.
We were in there just getting ready to start the investigation here in a little bit. And didn't even have any of the cameras rolling, and we heard what sounded like a door slammed. So we came out here and looked, and
Who was the last one in this store?
One of you, two, I
It
think.
was you, because I came in to call my grandparents.
yeah,
Did you just leave it open by some chance?
I think I just left it open.
In order to debunk this door slamming, I will try to open the door exactly as I did whenever I entered the building earlier, in hopes to see whether this door will swing back closed.
No, there's no way. See, it just did it.
Okay.
And you were recording
Which, that's fine, yeah. We got it. So basically what that happened, and being that the door's probably open a lot farther,
It was louder.
yeah,
So yeah, we
Did it-
debunked
Yeah.
that. It's
that's awesome.
even the slightest breeze when that door's slightly open will vacuum it shut.
Yep.
We just received a first-hand view of the wind blowing this door shut, so we can physically see that this was not a paranormal occurrence, and that this paranormal experience is debunked.
We're here on the second floor, and we were just getting ready to set up our stuff so that we could actually vacate the house, do what we always do, see if we can capture something while we're gone. And we came past this area that leads down into the servants' quarters, and got really bad cold chills.
Yeah, Ryan got cold chills and I got really dizzy.
It is said that when a spirit is in your presence, that you will feel a drop in temperature, or the spirit's energy could interfere with your body's normal function. Could it be that Steve and I are feeling these strange things because there is a spirit in the area? Knowing this, we decide to stop and investigate this second floor.
What'd you do?
I don't have any
I
lights.
felt like a... Ow. Like, no. I was holding that and I felt like a knife was going in my thumb. There's no sharp edges on that, is there?
No, they're all smooth.
That hurt.
That's really weird.
It was like felt like a really bad bee sting.
Just as Steve feels this sharp stabbing pain in his thumb, we capture an unexplained light anomaly. This light anomaly appears on the right side of the frame, flying in a leftward pattern across the bottom and disappearing before it exits the frame. This anomaly cannot be dust because it is not round, and it cannot be a bug because it does not have wings. It appears and disappears within frame and seems to glow. Could this be the spirit's energy that is having an effect on Steve?
More like 9:30, but whatever, I don't care.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
What was it?
It sounded like a footstep in the doorway.
More like 9:30, but whatever, I don't care.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
More like 9:30, but whatever, I don't care.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
More like 9:30, but whatever, I don't care.
Did you hear that? Yeah. That's what I heard. What did you hear?
It was either in this room or upstairs. I distinctly heard that.
Sure it's not water dripping?
No, it was like a boot.
We haven't even got a chance to attach our extenders to the cameras yet. We're just kind of running with the onboard camera.
Here it was again. Where's that extender at?
I'm holding it.
Shot it in here. Take a chance. Focus you. It was either in here or upstairs. I think it was in here.
It's probably that guy downstairs. These footsteps are so clear that Dave believes there is a living person upstairs on the 3rd floor in the ballroom. But there is no way that anyone could have made it up there to the 3rd floor, because the only staircase is directly behind us. Listen to how clear these footsteps are.
I think it was in here. I think it was in here. I think it was in here.
Because these footsteps are so clear, we immediately head up to the 3rd floor to make sure there is no one in the ballroom. If there is anyone up there, we will automatically see them, because we are walking up the only staircase that leads to the 3rd floor.
It's upstairs. Let's go. It's probably a stupid pigeon. That's not a pigeon. I'm looking over top of that roof, I think. Yeah, there it is.
Arriving in the ballroom, we are shocked to find that no one is up here. Because there is no physical person up here, these footsteps are unexplained.
What's your step? Really? This is a playpen?
It would have been over here.
Yeah, so it would have been up here in the ballroom.
God is my witness. You guys heard that too.
Oh yeah.
Sounded like people moving around up here, didn't it?
Yeah.
We caught that on camera. Had to.
Could these footsteps be residual energy of a partier still partying here in the ballroom? Even more interesting, there is a story. When the house was abandoned, it is said that occult followers would do satanic rituals here in the ballroom. So it is also possible that what we heard could be some sort of demonic or occult spirit making itself known to us. Hearing these loud and clear footsteps coming from the ballroom, we think that it is a good idea to try our abandonment tactic, where we leave the location, but keep our cameras and recorders rolling. Because these footsteps came from the ballroom, of course we will leave a camera and a recorder here in this 3rd floor ballroom. We left this camera in the ballroom for about 70 minutes, and while we were gone, this camera picked up a few strange knocking sounds. Also, this camera's audio picked up what sounds to be a faint whisper or talking in this ballroom area. We also left a camera downstairs in the basement. This is where, during the days of slavery, runaway slaves would hide to escape the slave hunters and find their way to freedom. This is also where that young girl's body was stored after she had died until the ground thawed in the spring. At about 23 minutes, this camera's audio miraculously picks up the sound of the door in the basement opening It takes 1 minute and 2 seconds for this door to open and slowly inch its way closed. We are not sure that this is paranormal, but it is definitely unexplained, because this door is made of a heavy wood and would not just swing open on its own. Also, this door is spring-loaded, so that when you open it up, it will swing shut on its own. So we could not find an explanation for this door opening and closing. Could this be the little girl making her presence known? Or is this an African American escaping to freedom?
There's a lot of stories up here. About a force that scares people and pushes people up here. Did you hear that, Steve? Yeah.
We've heard you, and we've definitely felt you up here before tonight. Make yourself known. Loud knocking sound would be great.
Could also definitively show us that you're here by walking over to this cross painted on the wall. Unless that is you're afraid to.
Are you afraid of the cross?
Just heard something in front of me here.
Need displacement of pressure on the floor.
Yeah.
Is there a party going on up here? You guys dancing and having a good time? Just so we'd like to party too. We'd like to dance. You guys, any way we could hear some of the music you guys are playing?
Oh my God.
What?
Yes.
Two distinct footsteps in the stairwell.
Really?
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well,
Abraham Lincoln, are you up here?
did you hear
Mr. President?
Remember, one of the more famous stories of Prospect Place is that Abraham Lincoln partied here in the ballroom, and just after Steve mentions Abraham Lincoln's name, we capture two very distinct and sharp knocking sounds.
Well,
Abraham Lincoln, are you up here?
well,
Abraham Lincoln, are you up here?
well.
Abraham Lincoln, are you up here? Are you sure he would have been here?
It's, what it said was that it was well known that G.W. Adams was a huge supporter of abolition and Abraham Lincoln's platform as far as anti-slavery. So he invited him to parties, and it's said that Abraham Lincoln might have come and danced in this ballroom a couple of times. A few times.
That you, Dave.
No. What was that?
What was that?
Well, considering it's the first time we've heard that tonight.
Does that sound like someone going, didn't it?
A whistle.
Just after I get done explaining the rumor to Dave and Steve, we hear a sharp knocking sound, followed by a distinct whistling sound from inside the house. This is very peculiar, because we are the only 3 people inside of Prospect Place.
That you, Dave.
No.
That you, Dave.
No.
That you, Dave.
No.
That you, Dave.
No.
Could this be the spirit of a partier who is trying to entice us to join in on their celebration? Or is this a more malevolent spirit with a darker agenda?
If you supported Abraham Lincoln, like we're supporters of Abraham Lincoln, can you light up those lights over there?
All you have to do is walk over to that wall, and it'll let us know.
Or you could voice your opinion on slavery or anything of that matter near the red light, which is also by the 2 green lights.
Just as quickly as the unexplained activity had occurred, it dissipates. And for about 40 more minutes, we sit in this ballroom with absolutely no unexplained paranormal activity. So at this time, we decided it is a good idea to move on with our investigation. But Dave begins to feel very ill and has to lay down on the first floor. Steve and I decide to continue the investigation without him, going down into the basement. We sit in the basement for over an hour, and there is absolutely no unexplained activity, and we do not capture any paranormal evidence. There is only one very annoying cricket.
It'd be nice.
So we decide to move the investigation upstairs onto the 2nd floor. This is the floor with all the main bedrooms. This is also the floor where the family passed away within the house.
Anna, this was your childhood room. Can you come here and communicate with us? We want to talk to you.
there's anyone else in here, you may also communicate. We're not sure who all's in here right now, if anyone. So any and all may communicate with us if you wish. Anybody in here?
Holy What was that?
That wasn't you?
No. I've been standing still this whole time, dude.
Where'd it come from? Like,
In the doorway over here. Holy 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 What was that? That was right here in the doorway, bro. That was loud.
Because this noise is so loud, we have to test out natural explanations first. Steve stands in the doorway, placing his weight on the floor throughout that area. If it was a release of pressure from the floorboards, Steve putting all of his weight over and over again on this floor should recreate the situation. But no matter how much he tries, he cannot get this sound to happen again. We are not saying that this noise is paranormal, but it is certainly unexplained.
That was loud.
I thought you hit your leg again or something.
No, I've been standing still this whole time.
Dude, that door's like solid. Freaking cold dude right now.
Is it?
What's your name? My name's Steve.
My name's Ryan.
We mean no harm, we can't see you, so if we're intruding, we don't know that, so. You make another loud sound like that? Yeah, I walked over here, like that, stuff like that. And I'm putting all 290 on this little piece of trim right here.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a lot harder than you bounced up and down when you actually walked in there, you know?
Basically, like,
You know? So if it was gonna do it, it would do it now.
yeah. And I thought, like I said, I thought it was you, it was that loud.
No, it was not me.
Is anybody in here?
Holy What was that?
That wasn't you?
No.
Cause I'll tell you what, right now I go through, I can see a little bit of light.
Mhm.
When I look back through there right after that, I couldn't see anything.
It was pitch dark out
Like
there.
it was like a growing static black.
Yeah.
And just get chills talking about it.
That was nuts.
Steve said that he saw a dark mass in the hallway, but upon reviewing our camera out in the hallway, we could not find inconsistencies or any dark masses out in the hall that were captured on this camera. Could this be the spiritual energy affecting Steve, seeing as how he was feeling cold chills just after the incident?
Freaking cold dude right now.
Is it? If that was you, do it again.
Close that door.
After this series of paranormal events, we receive no more paranormal evidence and have no more paranormal experiences. So after about 10 more minutes of investigating in this bedroom, we decide it's time to expand our investigation of the second floor into a different room.
This was the bedroom of Mrs. Adams.
Okay.
And then whenever Mrs. Adams retired to Zanesville after her husband died, this was Anna's bedroom.
Okay.
The one who broke her hip and then died of pneumonia in the house. So this is probably the room that she died in.
Let's talk to her.
Let's go ahead and see. Anna, I want to commend you, because even after the loss of your husband, even after the loss of your daughter Constance, when everything was going wrong, you still were kind enough to open up your home to help the people who were really badly injured in that train accident. That was a very, very noble thing to do. And everyone commends you for it. You are a wonderful person. You are a wonderful person. And that's why we want to communicate with you. Constance. We heard that you died very young. It's a terrible tragedy. But I'm sure you're here, happily, spending your time with your mother. We would love to talk to you both. Please don't be afraid of us.
Though we did not actually communicate with Anna Adams Cox, it was still very relieving to be able to say those nice things to her. Anna truly was a good person throughout her life, and the tragedy that befell her was very undeserved. It is our hope that wherever Anna may be, that she is at peace. We must now turn our attention to one of the darker legends of Prospect Place. Steve and I venture out to the barn to try and communicate with the slave hunter that is said to reside there.
But if the legend is true, and you reside here as a bounty hunter, trapped in this barn, come on over here and communicate with us. We'd love to have a conversation with you.
What state were you from?
Isn't it interesting to think that you were here looking for runaway slaves so that they could be taken back down to the South, handed over to their owners, and hanged for being a runaway? But when it came down to it, you were the one who was hanged here in this barn.
I think it's quite fitting.
They gave you a little taste of your own medicine there. How did that feel?
Did your neck break, or did you get to suffocate for a long time? We'd love to know.
Steve and I try our hardest to entice this bounty hunter to communicate with us. As rumor has it, this bounty hunter is a mean and nasty spirit, so we hope that our provocation will have an effect on the outcome of this investigation. But the only unexplained event that occurs while we were out here at the barn is when Steve and I begin to hear unexplained footsteps outside in the grass.
There were definitely footsteps out there in the grass.
These footsteps could not be heard over the sound of the bugs and crickets chirping in the background. But we heard it with our own ears, so Steve goes outside to check and see if there's an animal outside that could have made these footsteps in the grass. But because it is a possibility, we cannot classify these footsteps as paranormal. We can only go as far to say that there is a possibility that these footsteps are unexplained. We continued to investigate in the barn for about 20 more minutes. But with sunrise fast approaching, we knew it was time to conclude this investigation of Prospect Place. This mansion in Dresden, Ohio, is a home filled with history, tragedy, and death. And in just one night of investigating, Prospect Place has shown us some of its true colors.
It was either in here or upstairs.
I think it was in here.
But you did.
No. What was that?
What was that? Holy What was that?
That wasn't you?
No.
This building that is claimed to be one of the most haunted places in Ohio proved to us that it is ready to defend its title.